don't feel any different. I felt after the game. Just felt like it was a really good, hard-fought team road win on Tuesday night against a team that we have a lot of respect for. Again, we play them tooth and nail every year. They play really hard. They're always excited to play. Mike does a great job getting his kids ready to play every week. They always have energy. Both teams had energy in pregame, which sometimes on a Tuesday night you don't get. You gotta bring your own energy. Obviously, it's hard for the fans. No matter where you go, you're not gonna have huge crowds on midweek games. Everybody knows that. So you gotta love to play. And we know how potent they were on offense. I really felt like our defense played. I almost feel like they played as good as they played all year. They're averaging well over 30 a game. Our defense holds them to 14, a touchdown and 2 field goals. Only negative defensively, couple balls over our head. Credit to them, but we pride ourselves in not giving up big plays. So, now we played north and south. Our pass rush was as good as it was all year. When you got to get pressure on them, they're very precise in their passing game. Right down to the last play of the game, we got him flush and got a guy in his face and didn't give him time to throw the ball. I thought our pass rush they were really brilliant. I thought we played north and south in the run game, held them to very little yards rushing. And really did a good job. So game starts bad. We got the ball. We don't do anything first couple possessions. We got a short field. We don't convert. And then we have a debacle on a punt, which is really an indescribable play. You still have to ask him after the play, what the heck were you thinking? Even though and his response was basically, I wasn't thinking. There was no, and again, Bev's been great for us, but had a bad drop and then picked up the drop and then threw the ball in the air. So you're on the road against a good team, and then you spot them 7 points. I said the key of the game for me is they're going crazy. They're running like we'd be going crazy if that happened to us. We'd be super jacked up. And our offense goes 5 plays, 75 yards. And we always talk about being immune to momentum. Momentum is what you believe. They only have it if you believe they have it. They have it because they made a big play, but do you believe, like, our offense went out, took the field, went down, scored a touchdown? Well, so what happened to the momentum? No. It's execution and belief. Now, if you're mentally weak and you buy into, oh my goodness, this isn't good, which I'm sure all the fans like, oh my God, here we go. We scored our touchdowns on our next 3 drives. So that wasn't it wasn't a big play. Yeah, it kept the game maybe a little bit closer than it could have been because we spotted them 7 on a dumb play, but we score. We have 2 good inside the 10 red zone stops, so you're up 21-13 at half. Even though you gave them 7, And then they get a drive, and then to me, the second key of the game was after they got it to 21, our defense took the field 4 more times and has got 4 straight stops, including the last one, which won the game and which you had to have. So our defense was kind of the catalyst. Second half, we had 4 possessions. We had 2 punts and 2 field goals, and should have finished. We had a chance to finish both drives and didn't. Settle for field goals. Dom makes them, as always, makes huge kicks for us, and I would just end up with a hard-fought road victory. And tons of kids contributed, like tons and tons and tons of kids contributed. No one, I don't know, I thought our pass rush was the best it's been, but I don't think anybody was like, oh my God, this is the best game of my life. But everybody was playing hard. Everybody was doing their job, and when they had to make a play, somebody else on Miami stood up and made a play, and it was over and over and over. And against a good team, that's a hard team to beat anytime, let alone Tuesday night on the road. And we've had really knockdown, drag-out matchups with them. So we have a ton of respect for them and their team. And obviously offensively, we know they're really potent. Once again, our defense did a really good job of taking away their main weapon, their tight end. In our opinions, an NFL guy, and he had 6 games. But he had 6 catches for 60 yards and didn't make the impact in the game that kid certainly can. So Coach Breek and the defense staff did a good job, and the defense did a good job of knowing where he's at and, making sure that we had extra attention on him, not just, we're going to play. No, we're going to do some things to make sure we have enough bodies around him that he's not the difference maker in the game. Make somebody else be the difference maker.
All right, questions?
Strader had some, we'll call them up and down moments. He's always going to be a very important part to that secondary, when you're facing somebody, a team that can pass, right?
Yeah, and Rayon has been great for us, and welcome to be in a corner. and he's, he plays in the boundary, he gets the most action, and if, again, you never want to give up any plays, but you play on an island like he does as often as he does, and it's going to happen. The key to him is he has enough confidence, and he has so many good skeletons in the closet, like, he just comes right back. Like, where a younger kid or less experienced kid or just somebody that's not as good a player, a lot of times it snowballs into just a disastrous evening. I've had that. I've coached DBs my whole life, and I've had that happen many times. I can think of moments right now in my head that it just one bad play led to a bad night. And it took a whole week to get a kid where Rayon can just, because he's been so good and he has so much confidence. So, yes, he gave a couple of plays. I said, hey, he got the first guy, thank goodness, because that saved us 4 points. I said, to us, it's always like, okay, we shouldn't get beat on a post, but we did. Okay, it happens, all right? And now you finish a play and you dive and tackle, and then defense gets you. Like, those are 4 key points. Like, Rayon's tackle there, then he got beat again in the second half. Okay, we didn't get him down. It was a touchdown, but then he comes back and plays good the rest of the game. And it takes a really talented, good player to play corner all the time, because you're going to have those moments. And when you have the moments, it's a touchdown. When the 3 technique or the left guard or the receiver, it's not necessarily a touchdown. Like, when DBs and corners particularly. So it's just, I would say we love that burden. Us DB guys love the burden that it's, when we make a mistake, we're on ESPN, everybody knows it. Like, you can't blame it on anybody else. But the great ones like him, they just, they're mad, they're upset, they're disappointed, but then they just go back and play because he knows the next play he's going to make for us. So it's good that we have him out there.
With these midweek games, you're playing in darker and colder conditions. So how's the team recovering from a game like Tuesday, and how are they preparing for the next one?
Yeah, just again, the week gets all jumbled, and then again, we're fortunate. At least it was really raining, as you know, you're there, toughing it out with us. But at least it was warm. We're getting some scary warm weather in November. Kind of freaks me out that I walked out today and it's like 70, and people say global warming isn't a real thing, but I know it's pretty warm in November. I don't know anything about that, but I don't really pay attention. I'm happy for it. So, but it's going to get colder and it's going to get windier. It seems like this time of year, and you're going to get rain and probably could get snow at some point. And then just midweek, like, we had to come back and go to class the next day. That's hard. Like, we got back at 1:30, 1:40, 2 o'clock in the morning, and some kids had 8:30 classes. So recovery, as you mentioned, is a key. You just got to kind of jumble. You're not going to get a ton of recovery the next day, but today's their day off. All they got is yoga today, which is just a feel-good. And then hopefully they got a bunch of sleep. And so today is our Monday, and it feels like Monday to me. We're all doing this. And then tomorrow's a bonus Tuesday because we got one extra day. Then Saturday's Tuesday, and they get right back. So it does throw their schedule all out of whack. It is hard. But we're kind of used to this league. The new guys, it's harder for the new guys, young guys, like, they get all messed up. The old guys kind of like, okay, we're getting in this midweek stuff, and we just kind of get in a different routine.
You going to join the team in yoga today?
I am not going to join the team in yoga. I probably should. That's probably good advice on your part if you were saying, Coach, it looks like you could use some yoga if I'm reading too much into that, but it's probably should. But no, I probably will not.
The offensive line's been banged up, but it seems like it just continually has gotten better over the course of the year, no matter how healthy guys have been. Kind of what's been the difference for that?
A couple things. One, the thing there is those kids are going to play. Like, Colby's gone out there multiple times when he shouldn't have and couldn't go and gave it, but he's going out. Like, those guys are coming out of the tunnel, they're going to play. Like, it doesn't, and they do everything they can. Like, Chuck did it a week ago. He came out, and I'm playing, and and the other weeks, like, John's beat up, and Reed's beat up, and Jados is beat up. But the one thing about that group is they're playing. Like, they're coming out to play until we take them out. And we're going to have to, and we've done that a couple times. Like, I'm watching the film, and it's like, he's trying, but he can't do it. Like, he physically can't do it, even though the will's there, you know what I mean? So that's the number one thing, just having that group that you don't have to worry, but you gotta back them off, all right? And then they continue, pass pro was amazing in the first half. They never got near us. We had some glitches in the second half, but overall it's been very good the last whatever month. And then our run blocking again, and we're getting a lot of different things thrown at us, and they're smart and they're handling it. And again, we were close to running it great again. There's a few plays that were really close to breaking big ones. And sometimes there's a back, sometimes the O-line, sometimes there's a receivers. But we still had Mosey went over 100 yards again. I think that's 5 out of 6 weeks. I don't know, last time we've probably, I don't know, not my time here. So previous to when I was here, where we had 5, back over 100 yards 5 times in 6 weeks. So, but they've been good, and they're getting better. And again, they're doing it through, it's hard right now physically, but they're mentally tough, and they're going to come play, and they're going to give everything they can for their teammates, and it's a big reason why we're winning right now.
Coaches, looking forward to Kent State here. Obviously, they're having a rough year. How do you keep the team on task, even though you look at their record and it could be easy to just look past them?
Yeah, again, those who've been around here know it's week to week in this league, and you could look bad one week, and obviously they didn't have a great game last night against OU. It was probably their worst game of the year by far. But they also lost to Ball State 37-35. We just beat Ball State 27-21. So, so I would say I know their coach. He's a good guy. He's taken over different situations. They lost everybody when he took over. I mean, they taken over a team that was pretty good, but no one was there when he got there. And I always tell him, I said, people might say, hey, I feel for you. Like, if anybody can empathize with him, it's me. Like, I know what he's going through. First 2 years around here, he's going to year 2, and I know they're not, the wins and losses aren't there, but his kids are playing hard. You can tell what they're trying to do on both sides of the ball. They're playing a lot of guys. They're playing a lot of young guys. They're playing some transfers. But I told, they're trying to do it the right way, and they're trying to build it. And like I said, I was fortunate enough. I was given enough time to get it turned, and then once it's been turned, we've been turned for a long time. So, I totally get what they're going through, but you can see they're trying to do things the right way. They're not they don't change their defense every week. They don't change their offense every week. They're trying to, and they're not, much like when we were here year one, they weren't quite good enough. We played some teams tough. They played some teams tough, but we weren't quite good enough to get the things done we wanted to. We were 5-25 going 6 games a year 3. That's, that's 5 wins in 30 games. That's, so I totally get, but you see, different style and different systems than what we do, but the same thing. We were trying to do something and build it, and it wasn't good enough to work early, but eventually we know it is good enough to work when we continue to get maybe a little more talent and probably just more experience. A lot of times is we were playing a lot of young guys that turned out to be really good. They didn't look really good when Zoe and Kenny were playing as freshmen. They didn't look that good, but by the time it was like, what are you going to, we need some backs. I'm like, I think we got them. They're just really young, and we're playing them. And so, but again, you got to come ready to play. We know that. We almost lost to UMass at home, which we were 3-4 touchdown favorite. I don't know what we were, but we were a big favorite that day. We were, and we didn't. So you got to come ready to play. You got to do the things that cause winning and not give up big plays and get the big plays and get the turnovers and not give up the turnovers and all that. So
You had 3 touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns in the first half. Second half, no touchdowns, seemed a little tougher going. Was there anything as far as adjustments the other team made or conditions or anything that made it a little tougher to get the TDs?
yeah, it just, again, we didn't execute as good. They probably executed better. There's so few possessions in the game. There's 5 possessions the first half. There was only 5 more. They clock a lot. We went on a lot of time-consuming drives. So we had 2 good drives in the second half. We didn't finish. We had Reggie wide open the one. We misfired on the one. The other one, we had 2 chances to complete balls, and we were close. We didn't get it done. So, but they played a little better probably, and we didn't do as many things as we'd like to be efficiently offensively. But it was a quick game in the game. You looked up and we were halfway through the fourth quarter, it's almost over. So, but they probably played a little better, and we probably didn't execute as well.
South Peck had a nice sack at the end of the game. There were a couple sacks that were pretty big as far as being able to get off the field or at least stop their drives.
Yeah, at the end of the game, we need a sack. They had first and 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4 on our 35-yard line with plenty of time left, and we got a huge sack on 2nd down. Then we got another sack on 3rd down. Then we were in his face on 4th down. So they got 4 plays to get 10 yards in their potent offense. They just went 60 yards in 20 seconds, 15 seconds last week against Northern. to kick the game-winning field goal. So we knew how quickly. So you almost have to get them off. So you almost need a turnover, a sack at some point. I was talking to Bill on the headset, like, hey, we gotta get one here. If we just think we're going to stop them 4 plays in a row, they're probably too good for that. That gives them an extra down. They're pretty good at throwing it, so we came up with a huge sack. And there was other huge, even we batted balls down. Their quarterback's not that tall, so our guys did a really good job. Again, throughout second half, particularly when it got tied, our defense played dominant the rest of the way. Like they kind of took over the game at that point.